There's a fellow whose name is Salah Tamari. He was one of the heads of one of the Palestinian movements. And he was actually captured by the Israelis alongside 3,000 terrorists in the 1980s. And in 1981, he was languishing in an Israeli prison. And basically, initially, he was running a little mafia in the prison, and they were trying to have an underground movement, to free Palestine, quote unquote, one day. But the Israelis got wind of it, and they broke it up, and he was lying in his bed, totally depressed. He had no hope. He had no dreams or aspiration of, quote unquote, a free Palestine, of ever being able to get out of there and to redouble his efforts of terrorizing and killing Jewish people so that, quote unquote, he could have credibility in the world and get his homeland, which he really didn't care about, just no Jews from the river to the sea. And he's lying there in bed, and he has never been more depressed in his life. He's given up any hopes of anything ever happening. And all of a sudden, he sees past his cell a Jewish fellow walking by, a prisoner in the same prison. And he's eating a pita. And all of a sudden, he freezes in his spot. He knows it's Pesach from the food that he's getting from the prison guards. And this fellow is eating chametz, so he stops the guy. And he says to him, Yahud, Jew, how could you eat pita? It's Pesach, you're not allowed to eat chametz. And the Jew says, Passover, Pesach, Yetziat Mitzrayim, that's a thing of the past. We're living in modern day Israel. He went back into his bed, and he couldn't sleep that night. And he said, you know what? We have a future. You know what? One day we could have a state. You know what? One day maybe we could go from river to sea. If the Jewish people cling to their Torah and their mitzvahs, when they embrace their past and realize it's not things of the past, but it's very much the present and future, then we have no shot. But if they themselves don't realize the power of their past, they don't realize the power of Shmir Satorah v'Mitzvahs, we have a future. And he started another cell, which ultimately some of those terrorists ended up being key players in the Intifada, because they realized that if we don't have what it takes, then they can take it. If we don't realize that it's a land that's driven by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not on their side, he was strengthened, he was invigorated, and sadly, the carnage and the terrorism that he caused was otherworldly. They realized it. They understand it. How many times have we seen things in the last 8 or 9 months where they're saying that as long as we keep to what we keep to, and we believe in what we have to believe to, they know they're not going to be successful. They know it. We need to know it as well.